By the way, I don't hate Pirate, and I don't want you guys to hate him. Just kind of over-analyzing this because we're all thinking about it. We're all talking about it. And this is at once a big deal because it's people's characters that we invested a lot of time in. And it's at once also not that big of a deal. It matters more than just the game, but it matters less than, well, you know, life-changing events. To those trying to character assassinate me for a bad pull in Dire Maul WoW Hardcore. This is Hardcore WoW, and a lot is on the line when you step foot into a dungeon. Here's a light breakdown of the last 24 hours. Alright, I think that's fair so far. People are trying to character assassinate. This is true. I think this is happening. There was a bad pull. This happened too. This is true. This is true. This is true. This is true. It's all true. Okay, next. Our party went the wrong way and overpulled multiple packs with the boss. This is true. And they were all part of that pool. Anyone could have tried to ask to go somewhere else. Generally, it's the warrior that leads. They were all a little bit distracted, and it was a dangerous place. But this is technically true. They went the wrong way. They went through the middle. The shot caller made the call to run. Is this true? I don't know. Is Yamdef a shot caller here, or is it Ozzy? Because Ozzy said to run. It wasn't... The call to run was made, but it was Yam that made it, right? So first Yam said run, and then Ozzy said, yeah, run. So I would say that the first person that says it makes a big impact. So it wasn't the shot caller that made it, but it's still correct to follow it when the first person says run. Yeah, Yam said run, and then Ozzy said run. So we're now in agreement. That's what matters. But Yam said it first. I do think that matters. And then he went back on the call. This is also true. Though I will say that sometimes in games, you can go back on the call because the situation changes. If you think you can turn around as a group. During the run out, another pack was pulled. Yeah, we saw this. Actually, it was the druid that butt pulled as he jumped down. He pulled another pack. During the run out, another pack was pulled as we had opted to skip it previously, which is never a good thing. Communication was completely broken throughout this, and it was our second time failing the dungeon. Everyone played poorly, and 2 people ultimately lost their characters for it. I think this glosses over things a bit. Everyone played poorly. Did Sarah play poorly? I don't think anyone has established Sarah played poorly. And I would say that Ozzy definitely chose the path, but mechanically, I don't think Ozzy played poorly. So I would say that Ozzy made a poor decision maybe in setting it up, but after that, he did everything he could to save, and he would have died if not for the heal. So I think more accurate would be, I played poorly, because a mage has a lot of control tools to save a bad pull. I didn't cause the pull, but I didn't do much to save it. I over-focused on the run, and I didn't do a kite backwards run. Right? And the person that accused me of roaching the hardest and the fastest also didn't contribute much, aka Yamdef. Additionally, I don't feel we should have turned around after we already made the run call. We had a disagreement there. I don't think we should be turning around, and I should have been more vocal to tell everyone not to turn around because I wasn't willing to help anymore. That would make more sense than this, because this is kind of unfair to say everyone played poorly. Why? Is Sarah poor now? And even Snoopy made the first butt pull, but it was set up to be more likely to happen because Ozzy chose to fight there without a line of sight pull, etc. So while Snoopy did the pull, Ozzy made it more likely to happen. And Snoopy also did the second pull of a patrol by the way that he was moving backwards with his bear into another pack of hyenas, which wasn't cleared because the group as a team decided not to clear it, which is usually the warrior's decision, the tank decision. So in that sense, they both made judgment errors, Snoopy and some pathing errors, Snoopy and Ozzy. But when it came down to it, they helped peel for each other. Peeling is like where you help protect each other and help get each other out. So in the way that they mechanically played, I didn't think it was that poor. There was a lot of form switching, there was War Stomp, there was heals. He gave Innervate to the healer, Snoopy. So this sounds like an overgeneralization that deflects away from the truth. I think that's a pity. I think it's okay, the truth will set you free. If you're truthful about your own skill shortcomings, and he has skill shortcomings, and I have skill shortcomings too, then it wouldn't be as big of a deal. So I do take some issue with this paragraph. Each person in this group made mistakes, including myself. Again, both Yam and Pirate are saying everybody makes mistakes. And while this is true, that's not really what we're talking about here. So it does feel a bit deflection. It is like saying, oh, there's violence on every side. I punched your balls. You shot my pet hamster, right? It's not the same. I have never once said I was perfect in my play, nor that I'm a god gamer. I'm just an ex-Blizzard employee that has played Mage for a long time. Right. Played for a long time, sure. And as I established earlier in this stream, just because you play for a long time doesn't mean you're always learning and improving. I also think this is irrelevant, and it's actually kind of funny in an ironic way, because some people have criticized him for like invoking his credentials often, and I thought he would exactly make sure not to do that this time to show that he's not like that, but now it did happen a bit. Anyway, it's kind of irrelevant. To pin that on a single person is absurd at best, and if you're calling for death and cancellation over it... Okay, so if anyone is doing this is 100% wrong to call for death and cancellation over this, especially death and also cancellation, right? Nobody deserves to lose their job over this. I don't know what it feels to have people like call for your death and so on. You gotta remember though, that's the most unhinged people. But just because some people go all the way to 11, that doesn't mean that the people that go to 4 on the anger scale don't have a point. Let's say I do something terrible. I push a dog off a bridge and it gets hurt. Doesn't die, but it gets hurt. Terrible thing, right? What do I deserve for that? Let's say I deserve 1 year in jail. Okay. Everybody calls for 1 year in jail. This is justified because it's justice. It's how the law works. Now if someone calls for my death, that's an overreaction. Not everyone may agree with that. Maybe it's not an overreaction. He pushed a dog. Alright, I'm trying to come up with an example here that is like middling evil, right? But the point is, if you then ask for my death, that would be an overreaction. But that doesn't mean that everyone that's asking for a justified response is invalidated. The most extreme anti-fans and haters do not define the narrative. Of course, if you are the victim of the narrative, of everyone's outcry and anger, it may feel like you can just lump them all together. And so long as there's a couple of crazies that call for your death, then you can invalidate the rest. I see this a lot in public, when there's like public internet outcry and outrage. We gotta remember that the crazy ones are the crazy ones, but it doesn't mean that they wipe out everything else. I think that's always a bit of like an easy excuse out. Nonetheless, it goes way too far when people go loony like that. I actually think there should be punishment for death threats. Their IP should be found out, ISP should be contacted, should be given to the government. This kind of stuff needs to stop. But anyway, next. Over it, you're too invested in this content in an unhealthy way. If you're a creator engaging in this behavior, then eventually your content wave will end. But the relationships you've sullied will be permanent. Hope it was worth it for you. Is anyone calling for his cancellation or death? I haven't seen it. But anyways. To those trying to defend me, don't worry about it. This too shall pass. Don't attack anyone else on my behalf. I hated that kind of behavior. I have no intention of stopping making things or doing stuff. Those who were banned will stay so. I never liked this kind of knee-jerk reaction behavior, and I'm not going to change now. For those that don't understand why they will stay banned, we had 10-hour-long hate raid over it live on Twitch. We banned 4,000 accounts. Our mods received death threats regularly throughout it all. People called for me to be killed. In and out of game, they tried to get me banned from Twitch, the guild, WoW. They tried to make... This is, of course, completely unhinged, right? All of this. It's unhinged stuff. It really sucks. It went too far. A reasonable response would be to say he didn't show a lot of skill, he didn't show a lot of accountability, he didn't show a lot of solidarity. He showed some cowardice, he showed some lack of skill. And another reasonable thing would be to say, you failed your friends and party mates. And another reasonable thing to say would be, I don't want to party with you anymore. And then you can weigh in on the opinions and the mechanics. All of this is reasonable. I'm not saying you have to say these. I'm not saying this is the only truth. But everything that I just said in the last 20 seconds is reasonable. And this is not. And that's crazy. The internet hate machine. Oh, they tried to spread rumors saying I was convicted of felonies. They tried to make disparaging comments about our ferret rescue. or that we somehow hurt animals. The internet hate machine will not defeat me or the community that supports me. See you in WoW tomorrow. Yeah. Overall, this is true. This is muddying the truth. This is muddying the truth. I don't like the second and third paragraph too much. And this is all fine, right? This is all fine. Good for him that he's not going to allow himself to be cancelled, right? But it would be nice if he said, yes, I made mistakes in a video game. Yes, I preserved my character. Yes, I was afraid to die. And then be like, I don't deserve the kind of hate that I'm getting. And if he wants to deflect, he could even say, the person that pointed a finger at me, Yam, also didn't do much in the pool. Just as little as I did. Maybe I do have more tools, but we both had tools. We both didn't do anything. And I will reframe my understanding of run to run plus kite, which apparently people expect. Let's improve our communication in dungeons, and we say either run plus kite, or we say run for your miserable lives and find a hole to hide under. Right? There's two kinds of running. I actually thought run was run too. And that run and kite, or kite backwards, is the run that as most people understand it. But I've seen a lot of long-time WoW players weigh in on running. And apparently, when you run, there is the understanding that you kite for each other, especially the mage with their slows, even if it's from a distance. Braver players will do so from the front line, like Lakari, Total Giga Chat, when he did it in Dire Maul. Less brave, you can do it with an improved blizzard from 50 yards away. I don't like equating everyone played poorly and made mistakes. He references himself, but doesn't want to point at any specifics. I feel like pointing out at some specifics would actually do a lot to quell the anger against him. If he had said, I said I didn't have mana, I was very convinced of it, but actually I did have the mana gem, and I should have done more blizzard downranking, but I don't have it on a hotkey, and I was too afraid. I think people would respect that. By the way, I don't hate Pirate, and I don't want you guys to hate him. Just kind of over-analyzing this, because we're all thinking about it. We're all talking about it. So I'm kind of over-analyzing the tweets and what happened. I think it's interesting. Yeah, I don't hate him. I don't even know him, right? Like, I've never spoken with him. I just know him from some content. And this is at once a big deal, because it's people's characters that we invested a lot of time in. And it's at once also not that big of a deal. It's kind of both at the same time. It matters more than just the game, but it matters less than, well, you know, life-changing events. So we need to kind of keep perspective and judge him for what you think you can judge him on without overblowing it.